Karine Jean-Pierre's new book, Independent, is hitting shelves today, and she's on a full-blown media tour reminding voters exactly why her party tanked last year. Her answers were loaded with delusion, identity politics, and nonstop excuses for Biden's diminished mental acuity.
He talked way less to the press than Donald Trump does. Way less.
People weren't paying attention to what we were doing at the White House. But
I paid attention. I'm with you on the policies. I'm talking about his performance.
The president spoke to the American people a couple times a week.
The way that he was treated in those 3 weeks was awful. It was deplorable. I had never seen this visceral reaction and the attack on this man who, by objectively had a good 3 years. As a Black woman, as a person who's also LGBTQ, I feel as if those communities that I am part of largely get taken for granted.
Well, not to be outdone, another member of the Biden book club is soaking up the attention Democrats desperately wish came with a return policy. Kamala Harris seems to be teasing a 2028 run.
We have to win on everything, and it's about not only elections, but around this war on disinformation, and also just lifting up the ability of us as Americans to trust each other. There's a lot of work to be done, and I'm in it, and I'm here for the fight.
A lot of Republicans cheered at that moment. Dana, the objectively false statement by Karine Jean-Pierre that Biden somehow spoke more than Trump. I mean, I'm looking at an Axios article. Biden has engaged in fewer press conferences and media interviews than any of the last 7 presidents.
Well, I guess I'm going to give her points for consistency, because if you think back to the briefings when you had the split screen of Bill Melugin at the border with illegal migrants just coming across at Del Rio Pass, or whatever that was, I think that's what it was called. She would say, the border is closed. Obviously, the border is closed. You're like, well, okay, no. Then inflation. She said, there is no inflation. What are you talking about? She echoed the points from the chief of staff at the time and said it's a high-class problem. So there is that. Also, she said there was no crime. So now she's saying that Biden spoke more than Trump. So I'm thinking that consistency is what she's going for here. She has declined to come on America's Newsroom. She doesn't want to come do an interview with me, although she'd get a lot more viewers here. She'd get a fair shake. But because she doesn't want to come on, this is a question I think I would ask her. Are you okay? Are you all right? Because you realize you don't have to do this. And if she says, yes, I'm okay, I'm all right, then we all know that she's doing it on purpose. As Jessica said, everybody gets a choice for what they want to say. This is her choice.
It is a choice. I mean, Jessica, look, she says we were always honest about Biden and his mental acuity. I understand her loyalty to the president. He empowered her. I get that. But it's just, again, objectively false to say you didn't see this. I mean, Carl Bernstein said the guy froze up like he had rigor mortis at an event, and there were 15 to 20 occasions of this. And Olivia Nuzzi's debating how dead Biden appeared to be in a press interaction with other reporters. Like, everyone saw this.
Yeah, and there have been a lot of people who testified, who have written op-eds, who have done interviews, who I think didn't, lose their loyalty to him by talking about their experience. And from what I've heard, that the Biden family is not mad at those people. They're just doing their best to not break the law, right? Especially when you're under oath and you're testifying, and to be objective about what happened. And, I think it sounds like from what's in this book that it could have been a long form op-ed, and that it didn't need to be a several 100-page book. And I get it. You don't get it in advance for an op-ed, or it's not that good as whatever she got. But I don't feel like it's telling you anything about the party or the direction of where we're going. And you can make fun of Kamala all you want, and I know that you guys enjoy that. But her book is telling you something about who she is, how she's thinking about herself and her positioning in the Democratic Party. This, to me, just feels like weird fluff, and we've already had this conversation 100 times. It's not moving the ball forward for me.
Yeah, the Kamala book was like a grievance tour with the Democratic Party, but you're right, there were some honest parts of it. Greg.
Jesse enjoyed it.
Jesse enjoyed it.
I did, because it was juicy and gossipy.
Yeah. Greg, Kamala says, I am the leader of the party, and I know that is welcome in Republican circles.
Yeah, I want to focus on KJP because I'm on her team. I think that this entire conversation is missing the point. There's KJP is nothing compared to this suddenly caring media who are jumping all over her. Where were they? They are now discovering their journalistic purpose? No. KJP is expected to lie and cover for her boss. That's her job. That wasn't the media's job from 2020 to 2024, yet they did it anyway. The Bulwark didn't speak truth to power over Biden. They were just a never Trump cutout. Gayle King, she said, oh, it was so obvious. Well, it was so obvious. Why did you say something when it was happening? Carl Bernstein, who kept saying everything was worse than Watergate? Well, apparently, Joe Biden's infirmity wasn't worse than Watergate until he was gone. This drives me crazy. It's hilarious how they all mock her now. And the reason is it's because they know that they're at fault, because while they were willing to put a cadaver in front of Trump. They probably would have done the same with any other Republican, too. But they would say, oh, Trump is so evil. We'll even roll out, Weekend at Bernie's. But the fact is, they would have done that to Mitt Romney, too. So who's the most successful politician this century? Donald Trump, with 98% of the media against them. Then you look at the KJPs, you look at the Joe Bidens, you look at the Kamala Harrises. They're all abject, pathetic figures. They're failures. And they had the media on their side. They failed. What does that tell you? An allied, slobbering media does you no favors. It leaves you as an incompetent, arrogant, entitled fool. It's like parents who spoil a child so much that that child has no ambition, doesn't have to do anything, sits on the couch. That's the Democrat Party right now. Sitting on the couch, they don't know how to get up. Meanwhile, Trump, he's like the kid that the parents said, no, you got to work your way through school. When you're 18, you got to get out of the house. So he gets out, he does, and so he has no favors. He's not expecting them, and he goes and he gets it on his own. And what happens? You have one of the greatest presidents you're ever going to see in your lifetime. The Democrats have to learn this, that the media is not your friend, especially now. The more the media gets behind you, the more people are going to hate you because they don't trust the media anymore. They hate them.
Yeah, and the media suddenly found their voice, Jesse, and is asking KJP questions like, what, 5 years too late?
You know, this show has come such a long way when Greg is now making parenting analogies. It is, it's amazing. And what Dana said about KJP, that's the meanest Dana has ever sounded.
Yes.
Wow. She should really do your show. So she's got off to a really bad start. And she says she's an independent, but she can't think independently. She's still Biden's press secretary. She's still having this debate about whether Joe is fit enough to be commander-in-chief. We did this a year ago. She's like Rip Van Winkle. She went to sleep. A year later, she's waking up. Well, we did this already. And Kamala is saying she's the captain. Like a month ago, she said there's millions of voices in the Democrat Party. And now she wants to be captain. Now, captains don't write tell-alls. So this is my thing. I think she's running. She is running. Think about it. She's been VP. She's been senator. She can't make money. No one's going to pay her. There's only one way to go, and that's the White House. So she's going to run against Gavin. She's going to lose. And then when she does, she's going to call him a racist.
I 100% agree with you. I think she's running.
She's running. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.